What is up, guys? It is Zack Plauché. Today is Saturday. Unfortunately, I didn't get to making the video yesterday, where normally I make them on Fridays, but I had a really epic, kind of urgent project to finish for a client of mine. She was a student, and it was an urgent kind of final website build. So, yeah, that was really important, and I got paid pretty well for it. Yeah, so let's talk about that. So this week has been awesome. Last Sunday, I had kind of like a click in how to scale up my business, my freelancing career, and kind of freelancing career. It looks like it turned into starting an agency for developers, and I had I've been doing a lot of systems learning, like just systems thinking and all that. So I was mapping it out in Lucidchart, and I figured out what my different capacities were that I had to scale up. The different kind of inventory / resources that I do have, which mostly involve two things. One of them is my available skills and abilities, either of me or some other people. The other part is my ability to send proposals, and quality ones, on these platforms like Upwork and Wyzant. So, yeah, some really cool stuff happened though, because I already built up my Wyzant profile to where people can pretty much find me pretty easily. Actually, most of the clients I get are from finding me organically on there. So it's really cool. I have like almost 50 positive reviews now, and now though my profile doesn't say it, I've tutored over like 102 hours on there, so that's also really cool. Now, I've also been learning a lot of different technologies like JavaScript, Bootstrap. Actually, those are the two main ones. JavaScript is a lot harder than Bootstrap. Bootstrap was easy because I already know CSS, which it is built off of. So this project that I started working on came at the perfect time. Oh yeah, also I kind of furthered my understanding in building Django websites. So really, this project came at a perfect time to literally implement every single thing that I've actually learned, all the hard parts too. And within 18 hours, we got the project done, and it was due in like a day. So we got all of the functionality that she needed done within that time. And yeah, it just was awesome. It was basically like I took like 3 days to learn Bootstrap, and now I just understand it really well. And not really well, but like enough to do, I guess, basic stuff. It's not really hard to learn. If you know CSS, you can learn Bootstrap in a really short amount of time. So, yeah, I basically just crushed that project, and it ended up looking really amazing. So yeah, I wanted to share that just because everything that I'm doing is finally adding up. And like, it's not like I made a post yesterday, and my wife was kind of confused about it. She said, I made a post saying about how, like, yesterday I made, like, within like essentially 24 hours, I made $700 just from freelancing and all of my efforts that I've been putting in with my work and stuff. So that was in like pretty much less than a day. I made $700. That's some people's rent, and I mean, that's also has been my rent before. And like my wife actually pointed that out to me, but she thought I was posting that because she thought I might be like bragging or boasting, but really it's not that at all. The reason I'm posting that is because I value transparency a lot. And I know whenever I was starting out, I didn't have a roadmap to do anything that I'm doing. I was essentially a poor dude from Mississippi. My family wasn't poor by any means. My dad owns a restaurant. He was more recently, before it kind of got close, he was already making like, well, the company was making like not billion, like somewhere around like $1 million or $2 million. Something like that. And he had a pretty nice salary from his own company. And like, we weren't by any means rich. Like, there were still, everything was outside of my control. So while I did have a lot of nice things, I didn't really have to work for them. It was just like, okay, I was born into a pretty decent like family, and like, I got gifts occasionally, and if I asked my dad for money, I would sometimes get it. Or like, I would get paid for like cleaning stuff, all of which I didn't really enjoy. And now that I'm looking back, it still kind of makes sense as to why it might happen. At the same time, there's definitely smarter ways of parenting and doing all of that stuff. So essentially everything or everything that I know now, I had to learn from scratch. So like, I was definitely in some I was literally almost homeless when I lived in Las Vegas. So yeah, I've been very fortunate in a lot of ways, and there were also some ways where I wasn't fortunate. But overall, as long as you keep working at it, luck kind of finds you, and it comes to you in this way. At the same time, none of this could be done without some kind of logical process. At least at starting, it was just the process of consistent learning and education. That was step one. But it was like the right education, not just learning how to, like, I don't know. Like, I love music. I don't know shit about music theory, but I love it. And I could learn everything about music theory, because quite frankly, that does interest me. However, your lifestyle has to be sustainable. Otherwise, you just end up in the same rut where you're just not in a good financial position over and over and over again. What happened here is, with my freelancing business, I mapped this out like last year. So this really isn't anything new. The only difference is I realized I had to learn how to scale myself. And to do that, I needed a team. Or I still need a team. I'm building this team right now. So there were two main actions that were done this weekend. One, I reached out to one of my cool buddies that I met when I was still doing the pickup stuff, but luckily, like, we both turned into cool guys without it. So it's a lot better. Now, this guy's a skilled developer. I am also a skilled developer. He has much more experience than me, and also I have more, I guess you call it business experience, just because I'm doing the freelancing thing, and that is running your own business. It's just, you're your only team member at first. It's a team of one, and now it's scaling up into, it's going to be a team of about 3. So it's going to be me, this guy, maybe one other developer if he decides to get back to me, but it doesn't look like that. And I went onto a website, Online Jobs PH, because I'm looking for a virtual assistant to send proposals on Upwork. So yeah, I got a lot of cool kind of resources going, and I'm essentially increasing my availability of skills and what I call proposal capacity, which is just, again, the ability to, or the capacity to send great proposals on Upwork, and which both of those increase the number of prospects that I can reach out to, and get me out of the operations of actually sending the proposals. So yeah, there's that, and all of which is because I have a bottleneck of, right now, I don't have a lot of clients. So while I do occasionally get clients that pay really well, I have like 2 consistent clients where I'm getting paid every week. And then other than that, that's pretty much it. And then, like, occasionally I'll get some extra jobs on Ant for, like, my rate's about $50 an hour, but it's $70 an hour on the platform, plus the platform charges them 9% fees. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That was just a really epic win, and the thing is, like, this stuff, like, if I would have had a person like me to be able to teach something like this isn't magic. It's a literal process that I have mapped out on, like, a Lucid chart that I built from scratch, and it took a while to kind of organize all my data, but really the process is simple. I still have my goal of making 4.3K a month, which I have not reached. However, this week I did make I made about $960, which is good, because my goal is to make 4.3K within a month while only working a maximum of 20 hours a week. And I almost hit that today, or this week, I mean. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting. Now, there is a lot of other stuff that I need to figure out, things like taxes and all of this other stuff, which I'm getting there. That's just a matter of time. I'm definitely figuring out ways to kind of figure that out, though, quickly, because I don't want to be in a really not so great situation where I'm, you want to have your taxes sorted out. Mine were sorted out when I was working a normal job. However, right now I need to figure out kind of additional stuff on how to manage my taxes. Especially with all this coronavirus stuff going on, I haven't been able to figure out exactly what to do. I do think I think there might be some accountant in my family, but I don't know if I need an accountant or a tax consultant or whatever. Now, yeah, so that's kind of my next step, and then other than that, I'm still just focusing on building my team and scaling that up into where I'm sustainable. And it was really cool having the meeting with my friend this week, because what happened, I started having a vision. Like, the more you kind of move towards your goals, the more just you'll have to develop as a person in order to get there. So one of the things that I've been doing is listening to a ton, like learning a lot about Amazon and its kind of culture there. Now, while Jeff Bezos is an amazing person, however, he's not always the nicest, but he has the results of something that's amazing. And still, like, one, I've never met the guy, so that doesn't matter. In my eyes, he's fucking amazing. Like, he's comparable, like, him and Elon Musk are in, like, the same kind of range for me. And just learning about how they operate and the culture that he's made multiple cultures in his company, and they've evolved over time. He has different ones, like some of them were douchebags, some of them were, well, it's still a relentless culture. Like, some of the smaller details have changed, but it's still really awesome. And just that concept of what kind of company culture do you want to make. I want it to be where the people who join my team have a lot of opportunities to expand on either what they're good at or something that interests them. The developer that I'm going to be working with, or it's looking like I'm going to be working with, he's going to be he doesn't know a lot about the freelancing process, which is something that I know very intimately now, because I've spent the last almost a year now learning how to do. And I've already, let's see, I know I passed the 10K revenue mark not too long ago, and like technically that revenue is profit. However, it's mostly because it was like survival things. Needed to survive a bit. So yeah, which is basically operational expense because I'm my whole operation. It's an interesting thing. So yeah, and I was figuring out the benefits of, like, what would be the benefits of joining my agency. Like, what do I want the benefits to be of, let's say, a developer that I hire? Because, like, developers can definitely do their own shit. Now, freelancing is a skill in itself, so that's, that's just something to kind of consider. But normally, a lot of the devs that I meet that actually, like, love being a dev, and when I say dev, I just mean like a programmer, developer, software engineer type stuff. There's a lot of stuff they want to learn, and it's like, really, programming, it is like a mental skill, but also it's not really too different from learning any physical skill. Like, let's say like grinding metal, for example. I worked for a big e-commerce store that my friend was building, and that we were manually, like, we were actually grinding the sheets of metal to make them nice and not dirty and disgusting to ship out to our clients. I hated that job. However, just with anything, you get good at it. Coding is, there is a lot of logic behind it, but in the same way where it's just like some craft that you can refine over time, it's the same thing. It's mostly just like mental and muscle memory. It's just knowing like what to add and when, and then also a lot of Googling. The only difference is instead of having to go somewhere physically, you can do it all remotely and at home if that's the situation, which every single place on earth almost is doing that right now. So just with the whole coronavirus thing, at least when it was really big. So yeah, there's that. That's pretty much all. So one of the benefits is there's a lot of things to learn, and I want to make it to where there's a pool like in my own company of just a large availability of skills. To one, like we can teach each other. Two, there's also eventually we're gonna probably need to build our own apps and our own websites, which will have their own functionality, which will be really cool. That's part of why it's gonna be a priority soon to build the Zack Hub website. Because I want to get that up, and that's going to be kind of a place where we can see what skills we have available to even send proposals to the Upwork jobs. And eventually it'll get to the point where we want to take that off of Upwork because they charge a 20% fee to us, which means we have to charge more in order to, well, do what we want. So ideally that's only coming from just directly to our own payment systems and that sort of software. So yeah, that's the plan right now. There were a lot of other insights that were really cool too. I didn't work out so much this week. I worked out in other ways. So yeah, any other updates? I think that's it. I got a new keyboard that's coming in today. I'm gonna order an office chair and other stuff just because I want my desk to get set up in a way where it doesn't fuck up my health long term. So that's important. Yeah, after coding for 18 hours and I don't think I have the best coding posture, so my elbows were kind of on the table a lot, and I realized like after the first 10 hours of coding, my arm was just like, my elbow just hurt like a motherfucker. So I have to change that. That's why I have the new keyboard coming in. I think it's already here today. So I just got to go to the post office and get it. Yeah, we're gonna go to the park today. That'll be really cool. I'm not gonna get footage though because it looks like it might be rainy, and this camera is not waterproof. Yeah, so I'm gonna go shopping. I'm gonna go eat a healthy breakfast with Ola, my wifey, and yep, that's it. All right, thank you for watching. If you like the video, if you're watching this on YouTube and you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, like it, and maybe hit the notification button. I've never hit that on any channel, but you can definitely do that if you want to get notified about my videos. If you're on Facebook, definitely give this post a love, because love means a lot. So I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.